Hello everyone. Welcome. We are going to go through our MBTI discussion on FI, which for me is a tertiary. I am an INTJ. And I want to go over what is an interesting journey of learning how to show empathy, show sympathy. For most FI, tertiary, or inferior functions, mostly the INTJ, ENTJ, ESTJ, ISTJ, they seem to be regarded as very cold or not making decisions based on feelings, either feelings of themselves or feelings of others, but more likely to use their thinking function to make their decisions. I do think that there is a lot of variation that comes into this. Everyone has their own different form of how they show it, and based on their family of origin, country of origin, and life experiences, some things tend to be overdeveloped or underdeveloped. In my case, because I'm female, the societal push to have an FI work was a lot stronger than I see my fellow male INTJs, who are usually praised for their cool, calm demeanor and lack of F functioning. First, I'll describe a little bit of what I understand to be an FI function, my journey of developing it, and what would be 4 great ways for every INTJ, ENTJ, ISTJ, ESTJ should use to identify and utilize their FI for. I believe that we are not supposed to be overly dominant or one thing or the other, but it's more like a tool belt. A lot of people love going for the hammer or the screwdriver, but there are other tools that might be better served at different occasions. And so I think it is useful to use them all and become a fully rounded person than just sticking with your favorites. So going into my definition of FI, I believe FI is more me-focused, where you are very aware of your inner emotions or your inner belief systems, because sometimes the emotion part might come in later on, but definitely convictions, belief system, your inner state, and when there is a need that the primary or secondary functions are not helping, the third function has you going within yourself to come up with a decision, rather than for FEs to look outside of yourself, to look at the environment or to look at other people and see how they're reacting to make up your mind. So I have always found out that I found out that I did not use the reactions of others as much, or the environment or what society says is the right thing to do, as a deciding factor on how I behaved. Occasionally, when the pressure got too much, I did. But a lot of times it felt like I was betraying myself, that I was not staying true to my inner self. I found out that it was very difficult to read the room. I would do or say things that were not very appropriate, that were difficult. Many times, especially under the age of 15, I was amazingly blunt, and because I did not take into account the feelings of the people outside of me. I cared about them very much, but I felt that they were like me. And so therefore I gave them an answer straight out instead of seeing the variations in different people. Now, because I was particularly socially awkward, found it difficult to read the room, non-traditional, I just decided that I didn't have an F. I didn't have feelings in that sense. And so I didn't bother trying to grow them. So most of my teenage years and my early 20s, I didn't even bother. I never worked very hard on growing it. So I didn't think I was good at it. So I didn't try. And my breakthrough came when I started working on MBTI, and in my head, the INFJ was just the perfect person, especially because, all great figures, Jesus, Gandhi, they're all INFJs. So I remember praying for an FE, saying if I could just be an FE, I would be the perfect female. I would just be this warm gushiness of compassion. And the answer that came back to me was that I was made me for a reason. My purpose in life is to understand what that reason is and use it as a gift. So what I found was that by accepting my FI and using it, I actually discovered my gift. And I think that my gift as an FI is that internal consuming focus. Whenever I go through a situation, no matter how light, I go through it deeply and intensely, and I search through. I'm not necessarily looking for a solution, but I search through and I read and I research and I really turn it over in every single way possible. And then I find out that I become this library, this compendium of work that others going through similar situations can come to. And I wouldn't say I'd be the solution, but I say I'm one of the people on the path to guide possibly people on their journey in similar situations. Now, of course, we all know that every single weakness is a gift used to the extreme. The weakness is that, and we sometimes see this in INFPs and ISFPs, in that sometimes we get so consumed with the internal world and the emotions that we forget to come outside. So we just live there. We just live in that internal space. And your gift is always for you first, then for the people around you, then for the world. And so if you cannot find your gift for anyone outside of yourself, then you're limiting yourself. For FI, here is your gift. FEs are broad and light. What that means is they shed their love and kindness to everyone, but it is very light touches. FIs, on the other hand, are very narrow. It's somehow weird that it's difficult to give as much to so many people, but the ones you give a very deep well of. And I love using the example of Jesus and the 12 disciples and probably 40 extra followers. Really, he didn't have such a large following. Now, people followed him, but the people that he deposited deeply to were really a handful of people. And I think that is our gift. So I'm going to leave you with 4 things you need to do for you to use your FI. The first is to accept that you are bad at it. And I'm speaking mostly for INTJs, ENTJs, ISTJs, ESTJs. Accept that you are bad at it, and treat it like a muscle. If you have not lifted weights your whole life, you're not going to lift 100 pounds. And 5 pounds, let's be honest, folks are going to laugh at you in the gym. But 5 pounds is heavy. So treat it like a bad muscle. Work on it, except that the first couple of times you're going to do it is going to be weird and awkward. But understand that the more you use it, even in a limited capacity, you will become better at it than some who are naturally gifted but don't practice. Then the second thing is, anytime you go through an emotion, whether it is what we call positive or negative, a situation, an experience, something that confused you, something that delighted you, turn it over, research it and read about it and think about it and write about it and just turn over that experience in every which way, get lost in it. Do not shy away from the intensity of the emotion. It will be helpful for you and it will be helpful for others. You need the practice of going through an intense situation, but in a container state. Because you see, in our world, we tend to say, don't feel the feelings at all, or completely get lost in it and act a fool. But really what we need to do is to feel the fullness of the emotion and create a space safe enough to express it appropriately. Then your third step is to become a library. Write about it, codify it, journal about it. Record what you did. Record how you thought, record your process, record everything that you can. Because here comes the fourth thing. Number 4 is you start looking outside of you. And what you're going to see is you're going to see people who are going through those emotions. And then you will realize that there are tells. You'll be able to see that, oh, when somebody looks like that, when somebody makes a statement like that, that's an emotion. So therefore, you're in a sense using your FI to build your FE. By using your internal state of emotions, you look for people like you. And then after that, you start noticing people who are not like you. Maybe people who are going through situations that you went through, but reacting to it in a different way. And you get the opportunity to be blessed by helping other people walk through the same path that you have walked through. I have found that FIs are marvelous at inspiring other people. Marvelous at it. It's as if our voices have the ability to create emotions. And I say this for all forms. This includes everyone who owns an FI in their first 4 stacks. We have the ability, when we reach into this, to help others, to inspire others, and so that together we can all grow. I hope this is helpful and beneficial to you on your journey to depth and wholeness. Please link and subscribe to our channel to get notifications on new videos. See you next time.